If the whole world lived like we do here in Scotland, we would need 3 planets to support our lifestyle. Of course, we only have one. Climate change is the result of this collective and sustained overuse of our planet. The bad news is that you're the problem. I'm the problem. Together, we're the problem. But the good news is that you, me, together can be the solution, and we need to be. Urgent behaviour change is needed. We need to make significant changes to how we use materials and resources, the stuff of our everyday lives, if we are going to successfully combat climate change. The changes we need to make are illustrated well in the waste hierarchy. If we start at the bottom, burying resources in the ground, landfill, or burning them by incineration, energy recovery, are the most damaging options. The best thing most people aim for is recycling, but you can see that we're only halfway up the hierarchy and there are much better options further up. If you repair something instead of replacing it, that might mean you need only a new part instead of a whole new product. And when you reuse, i.e. sell and buy second-hand, that saves a new product from being made and another going to landfill. And lastly, when you refuse a new purchase, there is literally no carbon impact to a product you don't buy. Imagine the waste hierarchy was a ladder. Over the past 2 decades, we have made significant progress in climbing the first 3 rungs of that ladder, from landfill to recycling. But there is a real risk that we stop halfway. Over the next decade, we need to make the next steps to more repair, reuse and refuse behaviour. Current policy in Scotland is very much focused on recycling. It needs to shift to be more about reuse. Why do people change their behaviours? What would cause you to do more reuse? As it turns out, people follow a fairly predictable pattern. Innovators adopt a practice because it's new, they love the latest thing. Early adopters are motivated by wider benefits such as helping the environment or social causes. Donating clothes to a charity shop would be a good example of this. The early majority are motivated by a more direct benefit to themselves, income from selling a high-value item online, for example. Late majority adopt a behaviour when it becomes easy and convenient. Recycling rates rose rapidly in Scotland when we started collecting recycling from people's homes. Laggards are the last to adopt a behaviour, and it's when they have literally no choice to do so. We have a long way to go regarding reuse. Let me illustrate this with a question. Have you given or would you give a second-hand gift to someone you cared for? Until it is acceptable or even preferable to give reuse items, we have a long way to go as a society in normalising this environmentally responsible behaviour. The language we speak sends powerful messages too. Second-hand suggests second best or seconds quality, and this is why many of our members would use more positive phrases like pre-owned, upcycled, nearly new or pre-loved, as they have more positive connotations. So how can we increase reuse levels in Scotland? The answers are hinted at in the adoption curve we looked at earlier and people's motivations. First, we need to raise awareness. We need a campaign to promote the environmental and social benefits of reuse. This should be aimed at individuals, businesses and local authorities. At the moment, people think the best environmental action they can take with old products is to recycle them. We need to move the focus on towards reuse. Second, we need to increase the direct benefits to people for reusing items. For example, individuals can be incentivised through deposit return schemes. You get your deposit back when you return a product at the end of its life for recycling or, better still, reuse. Similarly, companies can be incentivised to offer take-back schemes through extended producer responsibility legislation. Third, a lot can be done to make reuse easier and more convenient, simply by copying what we have already done to support recycling. In Scotland, we have a network of nearly 200 recycling centres. The clue's in the name. They're currently focused on recycling. We need to transition these centres to become reuse centres. To do this, the Scottish Government should publish a national reuse charter. We already have a recycling charter. We need a reuse one. This would set out reuse best practice for local authorities to follow and a timetable for implementation. Local authorities need financial support from central government to make the transition to reuse. £70 million has recently been announced for recycling in Scotland. A similar amount would make a massive difference for reuse. We need reuse targets with reporting against them to sit alongside existing recycling targets. Only then will we know if we are making progress to a reuse economy. And lastly, as well as the carrot, there's always the stick, and you can penalise the wrong behaviours. Fines and taxes for companies that throw away good stock that would be suitable for reuse. France has done this with food waste, for example. And ultimately, a pay-as-you-throw economy for household general waste, that if you don't recycle or reuse, you pay for your waste. Let me end by thanking you for being part of Scotland's Climate Assembly and encouraging you to make really bold and ambitious recommendations. Thank you.